What's up, guys? Today we're talking about pro heroes. What's going on, guys? It's your boy King Chase from Royal Slice Gaming, and today, like I said in this intro, we're talking about some pro heroes. So if you don't know, I like anime, as seen by the past video we did of Demon Slayer. This is the same video, sort of, but we're doing pro heroes this time. Today is the day that I tell you what teams the pro heroes would have. So I took the technically 9 top pro heroes, so I did it a little differently. So there's a big chart of different pro heroes out right now, and what I did was I took the top 9. So whoever's the first pro hero, which we'll get into, is the champion, and 2 through 9 are actually the gym leaders, in reverse order. So 9 would be the first one, and then the second pro hero would be the 8th gym leader. So we're gonna hop into this. This was going to be done a little bit different because the pro heroes are a little different. They aren't really, so the way I had to pick these is some of them were based on their design, and then there's some other stuff I did that you'll see sprinkled in here and there, but I'm not going to be talking fully about their design and what they say. So I'm just going to we're just going to be a little bit faster. We're going to go through each Pokemon in each hero, and then just do like a short little thing about them, and then do the list of Pokemon, and show you a little secret I made. So let's go ahead and get into this. So the first gym badge that you, or the first gym that you would fight, would actually be the Dragon Gym, and the gym leader would be Ryuki, and she is technically the 9th top pro hero right now, and her quirk lets her transform into a dragon. Yes, she can transform herself into a dragon. So just like a dragon, she would get wings, big claws, a big old mouth with some teeth. And so all of this sort of like went into her 6 Pokemon that she would have. But since this is the first, all of these would be basically their pre-evolution. She may not have all 6, but I wanted to be fair and give all the pro heroes 6 Pokemon that are fully evolved. So we're going to hop into this one. So Ryuk's team is going to consist of a Haxorus, a Druddigon, a Komodo, a Flapple, a Garchomp, and a Flygon. Now all of these I think have different characteristics between her design itself, and a lot of the Pokemon themselves sort of reflect her. Her quirk is really just that. It just turns her into a dragon, so it's not really a lot to explain about why I picked these certain ones. But since she is the gym leader, we had to give her a gym badge. So after you beat Ryuki, you would obtain the Dragon Badge. Alright guys, so next up is the second gym, or the 8th top pro hero, and this guy is Ryui. So this guy hasn't been shown that much in the actual canon of the story, but he is a top hero in his own right. So there wasn't a lot to go off of. He hasn't really shown his quirk. It's not a known quirk yet. So his is mainly just based off his design, and his aesthetic is the Pokemon choices I did for him. So the list is Heracross, Hariyama, Mienshao, Pangoro, Grappalog, and a Scrafty. So I think all of these fit his sort of feudal Japan aesthetic. I know there's sort of a clash with the Pokemon, some of them being different martial arts fighting styles, and there's also a sumo wrestler, but I think it all encapsulates his design itself, and then I feel like he'll have like a very strong quirk having to do with his design. They wouldn't just design him a certain way unless you would give him that quirk. That's just how the show goes, is your design reflects your quirk a little bit. So there's not a lot to go off here, but this is the guy. So his badge is actually taking inspiration from most fighting type badges and being a certain color of orange, but his also helmet design, I took a lot of that from there, and that's this badge, the fighting type badge. Alright guys, the third gym that you'd be facing in this fantasy world is actually a washing machine. That's right, a pro hero is actually a washing machine. That's his quirk. His quirk hasn't been listed as a name, and again, just like Ryui, we haven't really seen a lot of him. His name is Wash, and he is a washing machine. So he has to get the water badge, and he'll be a water type gym. So since he's a washing machine, the first Pokemon I had to give him was a Rotom Wash. Obvious connection is obvious, but let's go through the next one. We got a Tentacruel, a Ludicolo, a Wailord, a Walrein, and a Simipour. I use these, especially the ice one and the Simipour. The Walrein and the Simipour, and the Wailord, I guess, they would all have like a spout for as though water and or ice would leave. The Ludicolo and the Tentacruel are sort of just add-ons based on the scenes that he's had. He's more of like a jokey character, so I gave him 2 jokey water Pokemon. But they're actually pretty good. Ludicolo is being the water grass, and Tentacruel being the water poison, respectively, and having some pretty good moves and typings. So I think those would be a good set for him, and we're going to move on to the next guy. Alright, fourth up is Kamui Wood. This guy is basically a human tree in all respects. He can shoot logs out of his arms, out of his legs, pretty much create trees pretty much anywhere, use them to, like Spider-Man, swing through the city, or trap an enemy within a cage of wood, or things like that. We've seen this in the Getting Back Bakugo arc. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but they bust in the door, and Kamui Wood restrains all of them with his giant branches. So for his team, we've got the Executor, a Shiftry, Torterra, Carnivine, Leafeon, and Trevenant. A lot of these are basically just trees that use sort of the tree trunks or things like that within their battling and a lot of their animations. And then some of the other ones, like the Carnivine and the Leafeon, are more based on his trapping things. You know, using the vines and such to swing through the city and trap enemies or bad people within his cages, and just wrapping them up in vines in order to subdue them. And his badge, I meant to show this off in the Washi badge, but you'll see it pop up. His badge is the green tree badge, is what I'm calling it, and it's just a big tree in a green circle. So that'll pop up here, and after you beat him, you would obtain this badge. Alright, next up is one of my favorite pro heroes. She is the bunny hero Miraco, and she's basically part bunny. It's if you took a human and a bunny and fused them together, you would get Miraco. She's got extreme speed, extreme hops, pun intended, and she's got a bunny aesthetic with her hero costume, and her main things is using her legs to beat bad guys and also subdue them. We've seen her basically put somebody in a headlock with her thighs and just do a bunch of stuff like that and bounce around all over the place. And for her team, you know, I had to give her A, a Lopunny, because the aesthetics is very similar, and B, a Diggersby, because they're one of the only 2 bunnies that we have in the entire game. So she'll have a Lopunny, a Diggersby, a Wigglytuff, a Blissey, a Spinda, and a Shawsbuck. So she would be technically considered the normal gym, but a lot of her team is very diverse, and a lot of it is basically mainly her aesthetic and being able to bounce around the scene everywhere and also take some pretty good damage and also give some damage. She's also like a big bulky fighter, so I gave her 2 bulky Pokemon and some good hard hitters. And I forgot, her badge is basically a bunny ears. So hers is the bunny badge shown here, and now we're gonna hop into the last 3 gyms, gyms 6, 7, and 8, and then we'll hop into the champion. So alright, for the 6th gym, we've got Edgeshot, and his quirk lets him basically turn into a paper-thin edge that he can sort of glide through the city or speedily attack people and subdue them by hitting like pressure points and sort of things to knock them out, whereas in certain cases, if he's fighting a Nomu or things like that, he can actually use his power to like get paper thin and actually cut through the person. He doesn't really do this a lot with criminals because they try to capture criminals, not really kill them, but if he has to, he can. And it's very, very cool seeing him transform into this like sharp edge and just sort of like spin through the thing. In the same art that they showed Kamui Woods capturing thing, they showed Edgeshot turn into the very thin paper sort of like pencil type thing and go through and knock out all of them by hitting the back of their head and knocking them out. For his team, he will have a Scizor, a Lucario, a Bisharp, an Aegislash, a Kartana, and a Melmetal. Now usually I don't really put Ultra Beast or Mythicals or Legendaries on the teams. However, the Kartana and the Melmetal I believe fit his aesthetic actually the best. The Melmetal can change its shape and form to fit its needs, and the Kartana can become paper thin because it's basically paper sharp edge, and sort of go through like that. And the rest of his team are just basically there and just to show that his fighting strength, and go with his steel type nature is because he is like a steel type sharp edge of a sword. So number 7, we've got the belt hero, Best Genus. So Best Genus, usually whenever I would make a video like this, I try to keep whatever I'm using having one typing. Best Genus is an oddball out of here because he didn't really have a lot to go off of with his design and or his powers. So his power is basically he can manipulate denim and make it string across places, tie up enemies, boost his attacks, and save him from actual attacks because he can strengthen the denim in one certain spot and make it a little bit more like a shield. Best Genus's team is actually one that's a dark/psychic type, and his team consists of an Absol, a Skunk Tank, a Meowstic, a Malamar, a Thievul, and a Hatterene. Like I said, to me, his is more like a psychic type ability, being able to control the small little edges of denim in order to manipulate them to how he wants. That's a very psychic type of ability, but he's also basically an edgelord. He hides his face through a lot of it with his big like pants coming up to here and just stuff like that. So I gave him the dark type on that. And because he is the blue gene hero, you had to give his badge just being a belt. So that's his badge right here. And then last up for the gems, we've got the number 2 pro hero, Hawks. And as you can guess by his name, he's the flying type leader. And Hawks is actually pretty cool. His real power is that he has hawk wings that he can fly around the city, and also he can send his feathers, each of them by themselves, to attack. Basically, the way they're shown, it looks like he either just sends them and they don't really have sort of a control of themselves, but in other cases it shows that he can control certain ones if he wants to. So he's also got a red aesthetic, like a deep red wings, so I had to find some that actually match that, and the ones I did were the Skarmory and the Pidgeot. Specifically the Mega Pidgeot having more of like a reddish tone to its wings, but he may or may not have a Mega. That's for you to decide when you go to fight him. But the other ones he has is he has a Noctowl, a Suelo, a Honchkrow, and a Braviary. I think this team fits him the best. There's not really a lot of Hawk Pokemon. That's sort of why I gave him a Braviary, because it's the closest to what he would be as a Pokemon. And the rest of it are just like super strong flying type Pokemon, because he is a super strong hero, being the second hero. And that is it for the gems. After you collect all 8 badges you see here, you can go up against the main man himself, the champion. And the champion is none other than top pro hero Endeavor. And Endeavor himself is the flame hero. He's got good control, not perfect, a good control of his flamings. He can manipulate flames by sending them out of his palm, sending them out of his face. It's shown that whenever he's in his hero costume, he has a beard of fire, and that's just awesome. He can manipulate those, he can send them out, he can actually turn the temperature of them so high that the flames change color into a blue color, and he can also turn them down so they're not as extreme. He doesn't have complete control as much as Shoto does with the higher temperatures, because the human body can only sustain so many burns and so much heat after a while that his body just shuts off after he uses too much heat. And his team consists of a Typhlosion, a Camerupt, a Torkoal, a Pyroar, a Colossal, and an Alolan Marowak. I think a lot of these are really based around his design and his firepower. The Typhlosion, Camerupt, and Torkoal, for instance, all based on like explosions throughout the thing. One even has the word explosion in its name, but the other two have like giant holes of which flames can come out, sort of like he can control and shoot giant flames from there. And the other ones are just there as just examples of his firepower. The Alolan Marowak is there, however, because it's one of the only things that has blue fire. And I had to give it blue fire because of his ultimate move, which allows him to heat up his body so hot that it creates blue fire. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you did and you like seeing me come up with Pokemon teams for anime characters, let us know down in the comments below. And if you want to see a certain anime or certain characters throughout a lot of anime that you want to see what I could come up with for their team or develop a badge for them, comment down below which one you want to see, and make sure you like and comment on the video, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye guys.